Alright, welcome everyone. So, I wanted to make this video because I often feel like I get sucked into a specific routine and life starts losing its colors, right? I don't know if this has ever happened to you or if it's currently happening to you, but sometimes I feel or I find myself feeling not as cheerful or not as motivated or excited about the future. I start feeling less alive, if that makes sense. And it's not because I'm depressed or anything like that. Thankfully, that's not the case. But I think there's something else there, and I believe I just realized what that thing is and what micro habits we can all apply in our day-to-day lives to start feeling more alive and overall just enjoy our lives more. And so let me share this little story with you, which happened just a few days ago, and hopefully go through it together and get to the main point of the video. So it was a sunny and beautiful Saturday morning, and I wanted to go do my weekly groceries because, I'm a meal prep kind of guy. I don't want to waste time cooking or doing groceries. I hate that kind of stuff, so I just want to do it once and get it over with. So I was gonna go to do my groceries. I was also kind of in a rush because I had some more work to do later that day. But anyway, I go out of the house, walk to my car, which was 4 or 5 minutes away from my apartment. And I get to the car, open the car door, make myself comfortable inside, start the engine. But then something feels weird. It feels like something is missing all of a sudden, and sure enough, as I run my hand over my right pocket and notice it's empty, that's when I realize, crap, I forgot my phone at home. Now, don't get me wrong, I had absolutely no intention of going back to my apartment, then go back to the car and waste 10 minutes in the process for absolutely no reason. I was in a rush. But at the same time, my first instinct was to open the car door and go grab my phone. Why? Because I never leave my house without the phone, and so it felt really uncomfortable, more uncomfortable than I care to admit. So I wanted to go grab my phone because that's what I always do. I obviously had to get it, right? And I almost did, but right before opening the car door, I paused for a second. And that quickly turned into 20 seconds because I started talking to myself in that moment. And I remember saying something along the lines of, what the heck are you doing, man? Like, you know your way to the supermarket. You have your debit card in your pocket so you can pay for the groceries. You literally don't need your phone right now. So are you really gonna go back and grab your phone just like a little child runs to her mother every time things starts getting uncomfortable? And again, it really did feel more uncomfortable than it should have, probably. But I was kind of making sense, I was kind of right. I didn't need my phone at that moment. I could function like a normal human being for an hour without my phone. And so, sure enough, that's what I did. I went to the supermarket naked. Or that's how it feels these days without your phone in your pocket. But anyway, to no one's surprise, everything went well. So I got to the supermarket, I grabbed my groceries, paid for them, and got back home. And you know what? It felt really good. And even if it'll sound a little bit cheesy, I actually felt a little bit more free during that experience. I was actually listening to the birds more. I was looking at the sky and admiring the clouds more. For no particular reason. That experience made my day, honestly. And now, I'm not saying this to you because I'm that kind of guy who's gonna say, stop staying so much on your phone, guys. Leave your phones at home, they're bad for you. No, not at all. But I just wanted to emphasize that oftentimes we get into these routines where we do the exact same things in the exact same ways, and when the circumstances of what we do don't change that much, that's when our brain kind of shuts down a little bit. That's when our brains go into autopilot mode, and yeah, we just do things automatically. Because it knows you can handle that thing, you've done it countless times before, so it knows there's no danger or there's no harm. So it can relax a little bit, and that's exactly where this monotony comes from. Okay? So obviously there needs to be a degree of variety in our lives, but what I realized is we don't necessarily need these macro changes to start feeling more alive and enjoy our lives more. Because initially you might think, oh, I need to change my job, or I need to move apartments, I need to move from my town, move to a different city. And yes, those things are really helpful. Actually, moving out of my hometown was one of the best decisions of my life, one of the most impactful decisions. But you can't really move cities every year or so, every time the routine starts getting boring and monotonous, can you? And so I realized we don't necessarily need these macro changes. Instead, it's enough to introduce a little bit of micro changes, or a little bit of micro variety in our day-to-day life, and enjoy life that much more as a consequence. Okay, so things like going to the supermarket without your phone, or going to a different supermarket, taking a different route home from the gym. These are all things that can help here. And doing these things is just like, imagine you're poking your brain a little bit here and there and telling it, wake up, we need you. Because we're doing things a little bit different today, you know. We need the brain. And that's when the brain can't go into this deep sleep and leave everything on autopilot for you, okay? That's when the brain becomes awake. And the most beautiful thing, the greatest thing about our brains being awake is that that's when you start to feel more. That's when you start to enjoy things more, especially the little things. And as a consequence, as a result, that's when you become more alive. Okay? So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Hopefully this is gonna help you just as much as it did help me, because it really put things into perspective for me regarding routine and monotony, and how all we need is introducing these little changes here and there just to wake up our brain, to not let it hibernate and let our lives go and run on autopilot. So hopefully this helps you. We're gonna see each other into the next video, and I guess until next time, see you then. Bye.